This is FilmSpeak, 41 minutes. We're gonna take this apart, bro.
Jennifer Walters might be one of the most dependable team members that Marvel Comics have reliably pulled off the bench for more than 40 years, ever since her first appearance in The Savage She-Hulk #1.
What I do like about this guy, as cringe as he is sometimes, he's a great guy, nice guy. A little cringe, a little weird, but I love it. He does a lot of research, and I think that's cool. I don't know a lot about the She-Hulk comics. I don't know a lot about comics in general, like I say on here. I'm dope with Marvel because I grew up with playing the video games and watching the cartoons. But the comics, I do not know a lot about, and so I don't really know much about She-Hulk. From the research that I know, they were pretty loyal to the actual way that She-Hulk is done. They were pretty down bad.
And even beyond the uncanny valley nightmare that is She-Hulk on a visual level, the death knell of this show is the absolute overdose of cringe humor, an endless barrage of gags that are so...
And the humor would have been fine with a tighter edit. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Am I gonna re-edit She-Hulk? I don't want to re-edit She-Hulk.
Being a sitcom, you would expect She-Hulk to at least deliver the laughs, but for me...
Yeah, it didn't.
Let me just point this out. This is just me. Some of you might find this funny, and that's great, but for me, it's simply...
It's not funny. It's not. It didn't work. But you can see where they wanted it to work, and I really think the jokes would have landed with a tighter edit, and maybe I'll do a scene or two just to prove it one time. If they had just brought in some of the things tighter and I don't know, they just needed more character in the shots too. There's a lot they could have done with what they already have on stock just to make it hit a little harder.
I'm really happy if it is resonating for a lot of viewers. I'm just one asshole with an opinion, but when the dialogue is so bad that it's bashing you over the head with girl boss slogans from a gift shop rather than addressing these issues in a nuanced and sensitive way.
The shallowness was annoying. The nuance wasn't there. The funny things that I don't think work for me because of the nostalgia. I'm just so happy to be there that I don't even think about that.
There's some genuinely compelling work being done with Jen having superpowers, a life and attention she didn't want thrust upon her, and having to discover a new normal while simultaneously caught up in the fallout.
Just the day-to-dayness of it. It was very just average. It wasn't anything crazy, just followed her. I wish there was more of that type in Hawkeye, but I liked that about Hawkeye. It was just kind of like a good Christmas family. This was that too. It was just her not wanting attention.
Man, it doesn't get much more lame than Jen and Bruce going on a car ride only to suddenly be attacked by a random Sitcom ship that causes the most contrived scenario where Bruce is bleeding and somehow bleeds into one of Jen's cuts, turning her into the She-Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, it was lame. It was definitely lame. I saw it and I was like, really? That's cool, I guess. You're just gonna bleed into him? All right. Cool. Sure, that works. And I guess it was the Sitcom ship that made it so weird. That really was what it was. And it was just so convenient. Super comic booky though, and that's why I was kind of okay with it. Super comic booky. And I wonder if that is one of the origins in one of the stories.
Specifically, the courtroom drama, but more on that later.
I had a lot of fun in the courtroom, especially when Daredevil came in. He overshadowed everyone immediately, and it was plain as day that the show was not doing as well. It felt like they were trying to get to his level. That's not what happened, obviously, just because of the order of operations, but there was just something about his vibe, when he came through, it just, everything got better. It worked. It was awesome. And I really liked She-Hulk as a character. I just want to keep saying that as we keep going.
Banner and the Hulk have been slowly reduced to the comedic side character, thanks in large part to fucking Taika Waititi and Thor Ragnarok. Anyways.
I think they're trying to make a more wise old man type figure. The Hulk is one of the last Avengers around, helping people out, like a big brother. Yeah, that's why they made him like a bro, you know? That's like a thing now though. People who are nerds are like bros now. That's like a thing. It was the flat brim caps, yo. Fuck those, fuck them, yo.
It's made even worse following the time jump from Infinity War to Endgame, where suddenly Banner just figured his shit out, merged the brain and the brawn of both he and the Hulk together.
Yeah, that did happen off screen. He's so right. I remember seeing that, and it was fun. I liked what they did with Smart Hulk, but I was like, why is this off screen? It just felt like such a jump. He's 100% right on that. That jump was so weird. So weird. I wanted to see it. That's what I'm saying. I wanted to see it. I want to see that shit. I want to see you work through it, but I think they can't because of the Universal shit, right? There's a lot of shit they can't show of the Hulk.
She-Hulk had the perfect opportunity to delve deeper into that transformation, to explore how Bruce sorted his shit out and how that in turn can help Jen. Unfortunately,
they were trying to make it not Bruce's show though, obviously. They said it from the beginning. They wanted to make a lawyer show. This wasn't going to be that shit. This was going to be a straight up lawyer show, and I'm cool with that. I'm so cool with that. What you're talking about would have been a cool story, man. For sure. For sure. You're so right. But that's not what they made. And that's not what they wanted to make.
Bruce has to learn to take both of his hands off of Jen's wheel, the very thing the Hulk did to him, and let her figure herself out on her own, make some of her own mistakes. If you really think about it, Bruce has been a victim of a controlling relationship with the Hulk for so long, been submissive.
And that was definitely a part of that episode, like his jealousy, both of their egos, and his attempt to control his ego, her just immediate understanding of her ego, though she, again, in the end, loses control of that for a brief moment, not like some Hulk shit. It's subtle. It's there to be subtle. I think you're arguing, too, that the show does a lot of other things not subtle and then chooses to do that subtle, and that is kind of weird for sure, weird choice.
It's just crazy to me to think that this and this are even parts of the same franchise, never mind shown on screen together.
Nah. They're fine. Chill a little, okay?
This is really some of the worst big budget CGI that we've gotten in years. Anyway, after a mildly entertaining Hulk on Hulk fight,
but it's not terrible for like it being a show. It's not that terrible for being like that. It still works.
The idea of being a superhero is not appealing to Jen. Jen feels that she can help people in her own way, as a lawyer, as a defense attorney, and that she doesn't have to follow the same path as Bruce. And ultimately, Bruce is really just trying to get her to stay to fix his own problems, not to guide her.
There was a fun thing that they played there, Bruce. Like I said, just feeling jealous. He's doing it for him. He's doing it to be a leader. And instead of letting her learn, he's focusing on him teaching. And Mark Ruffalo is really good at that, playing that smart guy. I really liked that episode. Their chemistry was really fun.
I don't know if I entirely buy Bruce, especially as Professor Hulk, as an almost creepy, insecure captor with a good guy complex, which is essentially how the episode paints him.
Nah, yo, it's her cousin. They're family. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. They're family. They're family. Stop playing that game. Stop it.
We get a solid monologue from Ms. Lonnie explaining what she's had to go through being a woman and a woman in a male-dominated workplace, and how that's, for better or worse, allowed her to come to terms with her emotions, inherently have more control over her anger than Bruce due to the ways society treats women and expects them to remain composed at all times. I really appreciate the sentiment, but this monologue feels a bit off, like they picked the wrong target here, especially since we as an audience know all of the horrible things that Bruce has had to go through just to get back to a place of balance.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. She's cocky and new, and Bruce has been through a lot, and he's being this leader teacher role for her, and she's being cocky and new like students are, and he has to have patience for that, and he's not. Of course she's gonna say that shit. Of course. And he's trying to react to that. Also, again, they're family, so the shit they're gonna say to each other is gonna be completely different than just two regular people.
People keep claiming that She-Hulk is trailblazing, but it's really
it's
just
not
recycling.
trailblazing.
And when we get monologues like this,
I gotta get these captions right. I need you guys to have good captions. Why didn't it go back to where it was at though? Why can't it still go down to the bottom? What's going on? What's happening here? I don't like this. This is making me nervous. This is making me feel really odd inside. No, don't do this. Don't do this, please. Okay. We're back on the page. Subtitles, options, reset. Let's try a reset. Let's do a reset. What if it doesn't work?
Life that's still unsorted, but they make him kind of unlikable and smug, which is even more unfortunate.
You can move it around. Why didn't nobody tell me this? How have I been missing out on this whole time? I've been using YouTube my whole life, and I didn't know you could move it around. The thought never occurred to me. Why didn't anyone tell me about that? Oh my gosh, man. You can just move it around. Okay, we're going back to my cool font. Yeah. Look at that cool font. Yeah. Yeah. Now that's a cool font.
This show is a half-hour, at least partly episodic sitcom, but that just shows you that they made this show under the wrong format. If this is the kind of story they want to tell,
that's kind of what we're talking about here. Is this the wrong format? I say no. Part of what Marvel's trying to do is they want to create a platform with so many different types of stories, and not just Disney Plus being Disney, but Marvel as a studio. They're trying to do a multi-genre platform. What is a superhero? What does that imply? And how is that not just a protagonist in a story? Whether it even is the story of the villain being the protagonist in their view. Marvel does some pretty interesting, diverse things. To other people's point, they say that it is too watered down. I say that it's Disney. So to say that Disney shouldn't be what it is, and then to say that Marvel shouldn't be what it is, again, I ask, what do you want it to be? What do you want it to be? It is what Disney has always been. It's been what Marvel's always been too, even in the comic book form. These stories that people are saying that they're annoyed with are actually staying so true to not only the context and the storytelling and the detail, but also the emotion and storytelling chops. Like the way that it tells it is almost the exact same, down to the corniness of it. Comic books of the Marvel genre are so Disney already, and now they're literally Disney. So for them to keep doing this in the way that they're doing it, I think keep going. But again, listen to these criticisms and try to be better like they always do. But to that regard, to say that you're not enjoying it, I think is just dumb.
To be fair, episode 2 is the second best episode of the season so far, and that's largely because it poses a lot of interesting ideas.
Right, I forgot that he hadn't seen all the whole season, which is still dumb. Why are we watching this?
Jen can't even exist without being derivative of the Hulk, and because the world sees her simply as the female version of her cousin, they make assumptions about her, treat her differently, as if she's a product of nepotism and not the year's worth of grinding at law school for a degree.
This takes me back to like what Baggage Claim. She was making the point that Jennifer Walters is kind of an asshole, and we were making the point that, yeah, duh, of course she is, and she's gonna make a character shift. I also want to continue to make that point in this video, rather take it further and say that she's not an asshole. She's trying to make it work, and these characters around her are very weird and wacky. And what makes the show funny in the sort of way is they're all out of this world, and she's kind of in it, and she's like, what the heck? That's weird. Look at all these weird and wacky characters around me. I think she is a character trying to be their best in this society. Like FilmSpeak was just saying, they don't want to be a part of this Avenger lifestyle. They want to be what they've always wanted to be, which is this lawyer. This is what she wants to do. This is how she wants to spend her time, her life. She's not worried about this other life that I guess she's now deemed to and being pulled to by just this cause and this happenstance, but she wants to be something else. And the fact that everyone's trying to make her be the thing she doesn't want to be, she's just saying F you the whole time, which I enjoyed. So to say that she's this asshole, we're all assholes. There's a lot of us, not you. You're not an asshole, the person asking that question. You're not. You're fine. You're a perfect person. So thank you. You girl boss, you.
It's a journey to reclaiming her own agency and learning to live with both halves of herself. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier explored a similar idea, and Sam Wilson grappling with, but ultimately embracing the Captain America mantle. With She-Hulk, it's just teasing. Ooh, what are these interesting possibilities? Wouldn't that be fascinating?
For sure, but they're different shows. Again, they wanted to make an episodic show. Rick and Morty has a similar problem, where Dan Harmon speaks about wanting to make this serial episodic, and everyone wants it to have this through line that he just doesn't care about. He just wants to make this fun show.
Rick is certainly keeping himself occupied. I think one of the few big giant shark jumpers of Rick and Morty is, does he have a larger goal that he hasn't shared yet? Or is what you see, what you get? If he's working on something, then I guess that would ruin the show.
So he's not working on something?
Well, no, I guess it would ruin the show for me to know it / say it.
This show is suffering from the same thing, where everybody wants it to have this through line, which it does in a small way because it is a Marvel and that's what it needs to do, but it's just a serial episodic. And this is that different that everyone says that they want from Marvel, but they never get it. And I understand why people are making the point of why it's bad, because it is bad, but not for the reason that everyone says it is, which is so to me. It's so odd.
So much of this actually feels like an allegory for people in entertainment. Someone on the up and up speaks out against an injustice or workplace sexual harassment, gets the attention of the media, gets fired, is seen for a time as the champion of a movement.
Even down to her office looking out to LA, especially in this age where everyone can be an influencer to their own respect.
But because Jen then gets insta-hired by someone she vehemently opposed in court, yet has absolutely no objections or challenges to when given the job offer, there's not enough time to properly explore this. It's just another case of the show smashing through each plot point and interesting idea, interesting piece of commentary, without really any concern for Jen as a character.
And that goes back to that writing that we were talking about, how they spent a little too much time on trying to tell two types of stories, and they missed out on both.
Why the is Megan Thee Stallion actually in this? There's a post-credits...
Bro, chill, dog. Chill just a bit, man. Just a bit. It's stupid, right? We know. Everyone knows. cameos. Sit back, bro. Take a chill pill. Live a little, man.
Cameo bullshit has gotten completely out of control to the point where now it's
literally a
celebrity
joke
cameos.
on cameo
There's
bullshit. Like, they're making jokes on cameo bullshit. Chill a little.
a cease and desist. Making that the entire premise of the episode just makes the writing team look ignorant to a fault. Oh, but he's violating natural law by using magic? Isn't any kind of magic breaking natural law? Is She-Hulk herself not a violation of natural law? That would actually be a pretty sweet premise. That's an interesting idea. Some bigot comes to She-Hulk to try and persecute a super for perverting natural law, forcing She-Hulk to grapple with the way ordinary people see her and whether she can uphold the laws of a society.
Here's what makes me mad. What makes me mad is he's that's a good story. That's a great idea. It's a really good idea what he just came up with. They made She-Hulk, the comic, Disney style, Marvel style. They did the shit that they do. What did you expect? What do you want? Why do you keep asking for this show that they never said that they were? That's a good idea, man. That's a great idea. Would that have been cool with these characters too? Hell yeah, I think so. But is it what this is? No. Why do you want it to be what you want it to be so bad and not what it already is? No love for She-Hulk.
They also need to figure out what the they're doing with the fourth wall breaks because they're too inconsistent, and because of that,
yeah, they are strangely inconsistent. He's so right. They were fun. Like, I enjoyed the fourth wall breaks a lot. There isn't like a beat to it or a pattern to it. She just broke into it, which maybe they wanted it to be inconsistent for like the sake of hitting you with it when you least expect, but I don't know. It was weird. It was super funny though.
Just because that's a part of the character in the comics and a great part of the character in the comics, it's done so well in the comics.
She rips out the pages at the end of the comic books, and she literally did that in this, and he hasn't seen that yet. So you know, I'm sure he'd like that if once he sees it, he'll be like, oh, she did the thing. She did the thing in the comics. Very cool, very nice. So we'll see about that. But in the meantime, you don't know.
Can She-Hulk Attorney at Law recover from the absolute tailspin it's in? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it can recover, for sure. I have faith in it, and I hope this isn't the death of She-Hulk. I hope they bring her back. I hope they work on her character a lot more, because I really enjoyed her. I thought she was fun. I liked the show. I liked the sitcom vibe. I want them to make a Marvel sitcom somehow. I think that would be a lot of fun. If they could do it, if they could really pull off what they want to pull off and keep it going, that would be awesome.
Throwaway gag, the aforementioned turning Thor into a punchline moment. These are things that seem humorous in the moment, and like in isolation, yeah, they're mildly funny, but are really just undercutting some of the MCU's best and most iconic moments. Even someone as beloved as Wong. My god, poor Benedict Wong feels as though he's been dumbed down for the sake of the show. It mischaracterizes legacy MCU heroes.
Doesn't step on the toes. Comedy doesn't step on the toes of the. It's not stepping on the toes of the like legacy MCU heroes. It's not stepping on their toes. It's literally giving them respect. They're trying to be fun with it, make fun with it. We take it seriously, but we also be like, but it's stupid. Really, at the end of the day.
Oh, the show is called She-Hulk. Well, if it continues on this trajectory, I'm just gonna have to start calling it She-Hulk.
Bro, I hate you. I don't like you.